So hi guys, welcome to this session here where we'll be talking about the Johnson rules. So in the previous session we talked about the priority rules, where we talk about the first come first serve, then we talk about the assignment method, and right now we're talking about the Johnson rules. So what I would like to emphasize a bit on the difference between the Johnson rules and the assignment method is, in the assignment method you are using a machine that you need to allocate to an employee, and generally you can use 2, 3, 4, 5 machines to allocate, for example, to 3, 4, 5 employees. It can be a machine, it can be a job with to assign to different locations and all those things. But with the Johnson rules now, the difference is we are picking we are picking, for example, jobs that we need to assign only to 2 people, 2 workstations, or 2 places only. It's not more than 2. That is the difference. So that's why the way of solving it is slightly different. In the assignment method, you can assign it to any number of unit, any number of location, any number of employees. But in the Johnson rule, you allocate a job, you allocate a task only to 2 workstations, to 2 people, to 2 locations and everything. How do we go about that? Let me take this example here. It's saying that Sunny Park Tellers has been asked to make 3 different types. Well, it's not really 3, it's 5. It has been allocated to make 5 different types of wedding suits for separate customers. The table below highlight the time taken in hours in the cutting and sewing, and then there's the delivery of each of the suits. Then the schedule using they said schedule using the Johnson rules. Answer the following. The first thing is we need to know what is the optimal sequence for this job. The second one is to chart this job through a work center. The other one is what is the total length of the optimal solution, and then what is the idle time. Now, how do you go about the first question, which is about determining the optical sequence? I remember when we were doing the assignment method, what we will just do is, like, if we are using not the assignment model, the priority rules model, we will say, for example, that if we are using first come first serve, we will just look at the jobs the way they come. If we are looking at the earliest due date, we use the earliest due date like an example, for example. But in this case here, it's different. So how do you allocate the sequences? So for the first job here, I think I'm going to do not like this. So we have 5 jobs like this. Yes. How do you go about that? I'm gonna just call this one here A on top like this. So the first thing is, for you to do this, you need to look at the activities by identifying the smallest number in the table. So we have it, in other words, it means that we have 5 suits that we need to make. Suit number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But then they say that we need to allocate them based on differentiation. The first one is the cut and sew. The second one is the delivery. So for you to go about that, this suit here, the value that you have here is just a nominal value, which means we can even call, for example, suit alpha, suit beta, suit, or we could have called suit red, blue, yellow, and all these things. It doesn't really matter. So it's not a value that you consider in your calculation. It is only a nominal value. So in this case here, the values that you are considering are the one in the table, which means that for you to start, we have 2 ends. When you are allocating, you have the left hand end and the right hand end, or you have the beginning and the ending. The principle is that every job that is, you will look at the values in the table here, and the beginning is already the first part, which is the cut and sew, and the last part is the delivery. Or the left is the cut and sew, which is this part, and the delivery is the right. Every time that you'll be working, you will put the left and right based on the way it appears on the table here. So now for this exercise here, what we will do is, like, we will look at our entire table. What is the smallest number? The smallest number is 1, which falls under suit 4. And then in the cut section, the cut and sew, we say that it's on the left, the delivery is on the right. Likewise here, we have the left, So what I can do here, just to avoid confusion there, we can make something like that so you know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna put an arrow like this. Let me make it thicker, then I'll put it in red so that you're not mistaken. So whatever we have here is the left, and everything that we have here is the right. So like this. Then I'm also gonna draw a text box just to explain it much better. So here I'll have the left. Okay, let me try to make it bigger like this. So whatever we have here is the left. Then on the other side, whatever we have here is the right. So it not really because of a box, it's just the side. You know that whatever we have here is left, whatever we have here is right. So what I'm doing, I'm also doing the same thing here, that whatever information you have from the delivery side is the left, is the right. Whatever information you have on the cut and sew side is the left. Well, it's going like this. It's on the left, I believe, like this. Yeah. So it means that everything that falls in the cell is left, everything that falls in the other column here is right. So how do you do? First thing, like I said, identify that the smallest number here is number 1, which falls in the cut and sew, which means that this section is on the left and it falls on this suit here. So whenever you are working this exercise, if this kind of exercise using the Johnson rule, if you are already on one side, if you have selected already a job, that job is cancelled and it cannot be used anymore. So I'm going to use a yellow color to tell you that it is already gone. So it means that suit number 4, it has the smallest number, which is 1 on the left hand side, which is the cut and sew. So here we're going to put number 1. This is the first sequence. Secondly, we go, so it's yellow means that we're not going to use it, it's cancelled. What is the second value? The second value is the second suit here with a value of 2 in the delivery. Delivery falls on the right. Then I'm cancelling this, and suit number 1 is going to be the last one. Sorry, by the way, this one is not 1, it's 4. My apologies. Yeah. Then suit number 1 here is falling on the delivery side, which is the right. We have suit number 1 here. It's going to be the last one to be done. The next we go after number 2, which one is the second smallest number. We have 7, we have 6 and 5. So the smallest one is 5. Now in this case here we have a tie. A tie means that we have a 5 in suit number 3. We also have a 5 in suit number 5, which means that we can either go for 3 and 5 or 5 and 3. It doesn't really matter because we have a tie here, while the smallest number is 5 in this case. So I'm just gonna decide to go with 3. So I'm cancelling. 3 is on the right and 5 is on the left. It's up to me. I can decide to put it on the left or on the right. But if I'm taking it based on the appearance, this first 3 here, I'm gonna put it on the right. So I'm putting the 3 here. I could have also put it even here, it's still fine, but at this level here, I'm just putting it. Won't change our calculation because it is a tie. Now because this 3 is gone here, that means number 5 here, I'm gonna put it on the left hand side because we have taken the one that is going on the right hand side. So I'm gonna cancel this one again, and because it is the second type, it's going on the right. So I have a 5. Like I said, I could have swapped. I could have put 3 here or 5. It depends. It won't affect because it's a tie in this case. Likewise, here we have a 2 that is falling, and the only cell that is remaining is cell number 2. It's the middle one here where we can just put 2. So this is our sequencing. Our sequencing means that we will start with suit number 4, then suit number 5 or number 3, then we will end with the other one here. Like I'm saying, you can just do something like this, or you can just go down and then you can put another so we have like this. or we can have a 4, but instead of a 5 we will have a 3 here, and then we will have a 5 here. Why we're swapping? Because it's just a tie. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. So I'm repeating again. One way to do this is to identify first the smallest number in the table, then you identify if it falls on the left or right. If it's on the left, you put it at the beginning. If it falls on the right, you put it at the end. In our case, the smallest was item number suit number 4. That fall on the left, that's why we got a 4 here. Then after we got on suit number 1 with a value of 2. That fall on the right, we put it here. Then we got a tie between suit number 3 and suit number 5 because the smallest number here was 5. We're not considering 4 because it is coming from suit number 1. We have already used it and it's gone. Then here number 3, we have a 5 here and a 5. It's a tie, it doesn't matter. So I can start with 3, which falls on the right, which is what we have done here, or I can start with 5, which falls on the left, which is what we have done in the other in the other part. It doesn't really matter the way you're putting the values. You can just swap them. This is the first part that is talking about the job sequencing. So A, it is done. Next is just this job through the work center. Well, this is the part that is slightly tricky because in this part here we're trying to chart. We're gonna use a chart to represent this data here. So what happens here is I'm gonna try to draw this. It's gonna be tough, but yeah. So what happens is you will have 2 sections. You have the first section. I'm gonna use this. By the way, this line might not necessarily be straight at 100%, but I hope you won't be strict with me. So we have a line like this. This line, I want it to be different. I want it to be, it is a line that represents the time. So it is continuous like this. Yeah. So what it means here is we're going to have the 2 sections, one on top and the one down. It doesn't really matter which one we put on top or not. We have 2 sections. The first one is cut and sew. We have cut and sew. I'm gonna try to make it slightly smaller. So we have the cut and sew section that is on top here, and then the second one is just the delivery section. We have the delivery here. So we have the delivery. Now the good thing with what we are going to try to do here, we are going to represent these allocations here now based on the different sections, which means that in the cut section we're going to start with 4, 5, 2, 3, 1. In the delivery we still do the same thing, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. Now for the sake of this exercise, I'm not going to use, because like I said, these two are still the same. I'm not going to use this one here because I'm just going to use the other one. This is what is going to happen. But you can also try to do this other one. The value must slightly differ, but the way of thinking is still the same. Now in this case, what is happening here is we're going to start with item number 4. We're going to start with this selection here. This selection says that suit number 4, it's here. Remember that right now we are doing the cut and sew session, so it's just this session here. We're going to consider only the numbers from this session first. Suit number 4, we say that the duration, the numbers that we have here is the duration. Generally, it can be in terms of days or in terms of hours. In this case here, they are taken in terms of hours, which means that the cut and sew section, we're gonna start with item number 4. Why? Because of our progression here, we say it's 4, 5, 2, 3, 1. So we're gonna start with item number 4. In the cut and sew session, it will just take an hour. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to represent them using just a shape. So I'm gonna say that it's just gonna take me an hour, and I'm just trying to use values here. So don't it's just approximation. They are not accurate at 100%. So this one here, I'm gonna call it item number, it's suit number 4. Then the suit number 4, to make your life easy to avoid this, I'm just gonna put values here like S1 to stand for suit 1. Then we have S2, S3, then we have S4, then we have S5, just to avoid confusion. Like here we'll have another S, because if I just put the numbers, they might bring some confusion. Like I said, it's just a nominal value to avoid confusion with the values in the table. So in this case here, I'm just gonna put S3, so it's item like suit number 1, suit number 2, and the rest. So it means that in the cut and sew section here, we're gonna start already with S4. Why S4? Because it's our progression. So we're gonna start with our S4 here, like this. We're gonna start with S4, and the duration for S4 is that it should just take 1 hour. So I'm gonna put on top here where it ends to say a value of 1. Why 1? Because 1 is the duration that this whole project or this whole section is gonna take. So I'm gonna put a 1 here to say that we are moving from 0 to 1. This is item S4. Then the second one is item S5, and we are in the cut and sew section. Item S5 takes 5 hours. So what I'm going to do is I will start from my section from here, but then it will continue when it will start when we are done. Remember, it's a workshop, which means that we will do the first item. When we are done, we'll go to the second. So in an hour we do S4, and then we will take 5 more hours to do S5. But then it won't be the same size anymore. It will approximately be something like this. I'm not sure exactly. So we'll call this S5. So for the sake of this exercise, S5 here, I'm just gonna give it another color. I'm gonna fill it with another color just to avoid confusion. So the blue is the S4 and the S5 is the other one. But then remember, we said that it will take 5 hours. If the first item took us 1 hour from 0 to 1, that means the second item is going to take 6 hours. 5 hours, but we will end it at hour 6 because it should be 5 plus 1, which gives us a 6. But the duration instead here is just 5 hours. Then we go to the other item, which is S2, which is the second suit. Second suit, based on the cut and sew section, which is S2. S2, the value is 7. So we do the same thing here, but then it's going to be 6 plus 7 because we're going to start it here at 6, but it's going all the way from 6 to 7. This one I might make it slightly bigger, so I'm going to call it S2, but then it's going to be 6 plus 7. Why 6? Because that's where we finished the previous item. So we have 6, then we have a 7 here. Well, not 6, 7. So it's 6 plus 7, which becomes 13. Like this. So this is where suit number 2 is going to end. But then I'm also going to give it another color to avoid confusion. I'm going to give it green. Then next we move from S2. According to our sequencing here, we go to S3. S3, based on the cut and sew section, it's 6. So we have 13 plus 6, which would be 19. So in this case here, we'll do the same thing. Then we add. It's gonna start right after the section is over. So we have S3, but then the value is 13 plus 6, which is 19. 19. Well, this one here, it was 7, so I'm gonna try to decrease the size a little bit because it's like I'm just approximation. So we have a 19 here for S3. Then the last one is gonna be S1, and S1 here, according to the cuts and sew section, is just 4. So I'm gonna take the value for S1 here. It's 4, so it's 19 plus 4, which gives me 23. But the section is called S1, and then the section here is the duration here is gonna be 19 plus 4, which is gonna be 23. This one is slightly small because it's just 4 hours. We'll put it like this, and then we have 23. But now I'm also gonna give this one other colors. I'm insisting on the fact that the representation here is just for you to have an idea of what is supposed to be done or what we're doing. Even when you're working, it's not because you are using, how do you call it? It's not because you are using the ruler accurately that you'll get the right values. It's just an idea, but I would advise you still to use a ruler. So the first section is always easy most of the time. The first one is always easy because we're just following the sequencing. It's S4, S5, S2, S3, then S1. S1 here, I'm repeating, we are moving from 0 to 1. We have an S4. S4 is coming here because we have our cutting succession. Then the second suit number 5 here is the following one, which is 5 hours. We will take 1 plus 5 is 6 hours, so we'll finish it here. Then after, according to the sequence, we have S2, which goes from 7 hours here. So we will take the 6 plus 7 will be 13. Then we have S2 that follows. Then S3 is the item before last, which is 6 hours. So we have 13 plus 6, which gives us 19, and S3 goes all the way. Then the last one is S1, which is just 4. So we'll take 19 plus 4, we have a 23. Next thing is we go down to the second session, which is the delivery. On this session, I want you to get a bit the focus because it's slightly different. We work with principle. The idea is you cannot start two workstation cannot be working on one item at the same time. Remember, the idea is like we are working first on the cut and sew, then we will deliver. You cannot deliver something that you are cutting and sewing. You need to finish cutting it and sewing it, then you can deliver to the customer. So it means that if an item is still in the previous section, you cannot work on it in the next session. So if the first section is the cut and sew section, they will work on it. Once they are done, then they will send the item to the second to the second section, and the second section will work on it. So what does it mean? It means we're still following this progression. It still means that in the cut and sew section, they are working with suit number 4. They are done with it an hour later. So what means that we will take the same suit. We won't start it from 0 anymore, because from 0 it is being used here. What we will do is like we wait when it is done after an hour, then we can deliver it. So it means that from 0 until 4 until 1, we're not doing anything right now. We are just delivering. We are just waiting actually for them to deliver, for them to be done. We are just waiting for this suit to be done, then we can deliver. Once it's done, now we look at suit number 4. Suit number 4 is here, but according to the delivery section, it will take 2 hours to deliver it. So which means that suit number 4 yet going from 0 all the way to 2, we can just, so we have 0 here, 0 plus 1, which gives us 2. Then we will have our value of 2 here. So we are waiting for the 0. We're not starting from 0, we're starting from 2 because it's the same item. We're waiting for them to be done in the first section. Then we work with the same item now in the second section to deliver. Then after S4, we have S5. So it's the second suit. The second suit now, according to what they say here, the second suit is S5, and according to the delivery here, it takes 9 hours. So which means that the second suit here we will wait. But now remember that these guys are still waiting. They are still working from hour 0 until hour 6. They are still working on it. They are not yet done. Then according to the graph here, they will be done only after 6 hours. So which means that I'm not going to put it straight here, because if I put it, it's more like it will overlap with the cut and sew while they are not done yet. So they will be done after 6 hours. Then we will start it here. This is where we will start. Why? Because we need to wait for them to be done first in the cut and sew section, then we can deliver. Now in this case, we're not going to start. In this case, there's a 0 here. We will start it from week 6. We will start it from hour 6. That's when they start now. They start in hour 6. But then we have an S5. The duration here is 9. So it's 6 plus 9, which will give us 15. So we will start from 6, but then we will end it in 15. Why 15? Because we take 9 plus 6. And why are we taking 9 plus 6? Because 6, that's when it ended in the previous section. So they finish it 6 hours later. That's when we can take it now and deliver, because they are not done yet. Now, in this case here, you find out that it is 15. This duration here, it needs to work in accordance with this time in the previous section. This one, they will be done at 13, which means 15 will be, this is 13, 14, 15 will be somewhere here. That means suit number 5, they will be done somewhere here. But now you notice that week number 5, suit number 5, once they are done with it, they can start already go to number 2. Number 2, according to the section here, is just 7 hours. So they will be done with suit number 5, 15 hours in the delivery session, but in the cut, they'll be done 13 hours earlier, which means that they are done already with suit number 2. So by the time we are done with suit number 5, it's okay, we can move already. We can start already suit number 2, because it was done already at 13 while this one was done at 15. But then the time frame is suit number 2 in the delivery section, it's 7. So it's 15 plus 7, which just gives us 22. So we have a 22. I want you to notice something, that this one here, the 22 that we have, is still falling behind the 23. So the time is determined by the first section that we are working, the one on top. It will always tell you. So I could not get my 22 that is past the 23 here. No, 22 is somewhere here, because there's a 23 that is just on top here. And this is suit number 2. So suit number 3 from the previous section, it's end at 19, which means that since I'm done already at 22 with suit number 3, number 2, I can start already suit number 3 here. Suit number 3, according to my sequencing here, suit number 3 will take only 5 hours. So I take 22 plus 5, which gives me 27. And again, you notice that the 27 is even past the 23 on top. And finally, we have suit number 1 here in the delivery section, is just 2 hours. Then I take my suit again. I'll be done with suit number 3 27 hours later. Then just plus my 2 hours here, then I'll just get a 29. I can decrease it a bit. Remember, like I said, these are just representations. So whatever we have here, it suits number 1, and then it's 29. Now, what just happened? I'm gonna try to recap it again. So what is happening is in the Johnson rules, we are working with 2 sessions. So we are allocating job, service, product to those two sessions. A job cannot be allocated at 2 sessions at the same time. So if you take it in this example here, you cannot say, for example, that you are cutting and sewing a product, but you are also delivering it. It doesn't make sense. It's like the restaurant when you go there. They cannot be cooking the food and then you are eating it already. It needs to be done in the kitchen, then it will be served to you. Likewise, whatever we have done in the first session here, we are just representing the values. The numbers that are here is cumulative numbers based on the timing. I explained already the first session, so I'm going on the second session. Now, this S4 that we are putting is the same S4 that we have used in the previous session. It's more like that same food that they are cooking in the kitchen is the one that's going to serve you. But they needs to be done in the kitchen before they start serving it to you. Which means that's why here it's empty. When you come, you order, you wait for an hour for the cut and sew. They are done. They will deliver now after an hour. So after an hour, that's when they deliver. So it's more like we have spent an hour here, and then it will be 0 all the way, and then so we have 0 1. Oh my god, there's a mistake. So it's 0 1. We have spent an hour here from 0 to 1, but then the duration for suit number 4 is so everything is just wrong. Suit number 4 here, the duration is 6. How come I used 2? Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna try to fix this. So what we're saying is like suit number 1 here, then we are in suit number S4 here. The duration is 6 hours for deliveries, which means that we're gonna start from 1 here. This is when we have started. Then we have 1 plus 6, so it means that even these values here are wrong. I'm really sorry for this. Let me try to fix this. So I'm repeating this part again. So which means that we wait an hour after when suit number 4 is done, then we're gonna deliver it an hour after, but we know here that we have a 6 coming from delivery 2. So we'll have 1 plus 6 gives us a 7. So we go all the way here until 7. So we are moving from the one that is here from the previous section, and we are moving to the second one here until week number 7. I'm really sorry for this mistake and my apologies for any inconvenience. So here we have a 7. So it's 6. It is 1 plus 6, which gives us a 7. We are done in the first one, which was 1. We're not starting from 1 because it is still being used in the cut and sew section. So we have 1, which takes us 6 hours. So we have 1 plus 6, which gives us 7. Now everything changes because right now item number 5 ends in week 6. I mean 6 hours after, but 7 hours, that one will be done with suit number 5. So which means from here already I can start. So from here I've started number 5, and suit number 5 is here. The value is 9, which means I will start already from 7 because they are done in week 6. So it's 7 plus 9, which gives me 16. So I go all the way until a 16 here. 7 plus 9, I got my 16. So we are moving from 7 to 16 like this. Then the next item that comes is S2. S2 is over since 13, which means that I'm going to start it already here. Then according to my calculation, I have an S2. S2, the duration is 7 here. So I have my 16 plus 7, which gives me 23. So which means that S2 is going to end exactly here because that's why there's a 23. So I want you, like I was saying, I really want you to focus on the time and make sure that you're not making mistakes like I just did. So this is S2. Then right after S2 we have an S3. S3 is here. Then the delivery is 5 hours. So the value is here, and it's already finished long time ago, since 19. So right, we can already deliver because we have this is S3 and the value is 5. So 23 plus 5 will give us a 28. So we have a 28 here, and this is week, this is suit number 3. Then we have a suit, the last suit, which is suit number 1 here, which is just 2 hours, but because it is done here already, it's gonna go straight. So we will go number 1 here plus 2, which gives us also here suit number 1 plus 28 plus 2, which will give us 30. So do you see that this graph is slightly different from the one that I grew because I didn't consider these values yet? I don't even know where I got the previous values. Like, I'm repeating myself. Every time that you will start the second session, there will always be an idle time. Why? Because we will be waiting for the first item to be done in the first section so that we will use it in the second session here, the second section. Which means in this case that we have to wait for the first suit number 4 to be done, being cut and being sewed in the first section. We have waited an hour not doing anything, but then after an hour it is done, they ask us that for suit number 4 to be delivered, it takes 6 hours. So it took 1 plus 6, which is 7. So by the time we are done in week with 7 hours, suit number 5 is already ready because it was ready 6 hours. Then we look at 6 number 5, it takes us 9 hours again. We take the 7 plus 9, which is 16. 16 hours later we are done, and suit number 2 is also done 13 hours earlier. So what we do is, like, we can jump in already delivering because it is done being sewed. Then the previous one that I did, and then you can go for the rest of the exercises, but the previous one that I did, if for example an item, this is just an example, if an item is not done before its delivering time, is not done before it is being cut and sewed, there will be an idle time, like the mistake that I did there, but it's something that you can learn from. If that item is not done before the due date, you wait for it to be done in the previous section, then you can put. Now with that, you will have idle times. What is an idle time? Well, first let's answer part B. Part B say chart this job through the work center, which is what we have done. Then C and D. C says what is the total length of this optimal. The total length is always the longest time. In this case here is C is 30. So if we have to answer C, we will say that total time is 30. Why is it 30? Because 30 is the longest duration. If the longest had come on top, which was 35, we could have said 35. In this case, it's 30. Next is what is the idle time at Sunny Park Tailors given the optimal. So the idle time, like I said, it is the time where you are not doing anything for different reasons. Either the product is not yet ready for your session, or either maybe there's something that is broke that do not allow you to work faster. But in this case here, the idle time comes in the way that the company is stuck, they are not working at all because they are waiting for the product to come. And in this case, the delivery section is idling. Why? Because they need to wait for the job to be done in the previous section, because they needed to deliver suit 4, but suit 4 is not yet done, so they had to wait from the cut and sew section to be done with it, then they can continue, which made in this case here an idle time of an hour. So the idle time for section T is idle time is an hour. It's an hour only because right now they are not idling. But if they had to wait, for example, and there was a time frame here, things would have been different. We would have taken that time plus this idle time again that is there, and then we have a value with the idle time. In the book that we're using, there are so many of these examples that you can use that can help you understand the idle time. There's even a solved exercise already. Try to go through it to understand how the idle time is made. So I think this is it about this session. Thank you so much for your time, and then my apologies again about the mistake that I just did here. And yeah, I hope that this section was helpful. If you have a question, you can just type it straight in the comment section. We can help and we will assist. Also, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to subscribe and follow us so that you can watch every time that there's a new video. You guys are updated. Thank you so much and have a nice